Music lesson number 1 with Jen and Vi. The first thing you need to know about music is that there is something called a staff. A staff has 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4 spaces in between the lines, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you have 2 staffs, that's actually called staves, plural. 1 staff, 2 staves. When you put 2 staves together, you have a grand staff. In the staff, you have clefs. The clefs are to tell you how to read the notes on the staff. The treble clef in the grand staff is typically on the top. The treble clef is also known as the G clef because the G is the second line in the staff, and the treble clef surrounds that G, the second line. The bass clef is typically on the bottom in a grand staff and is also known as the F clef. The bass clef is also known as the F clef because the second line from the top is F, and the 2 little dots next to that bass clef surround the second line. So let's review the notes. The first line from the bottom on a treble clef is E. The second line is G for the G clef or treble clef. The third line is B. The fourth line is D. And the top line is F. These are the names of the notes on the lines of a treble clef. You can remember these notes, if you want to, by using a little mnemonic. Every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. E, G, B, D, F. You can use that to remember the notes on the lines of the treble clef. To remember the notes in the spaces, you can use a mnemonic as well. The names of the notes in the spaces spell the word face. F, A, C, E. So you have the word face for the names of the notes in the spaces, F, A, C, E. And the lines right around them, every good boy does fine. Those are the notes of the treble clef. Now I want to introduce to you middle C. Middle C is called such because it is in the middle of the bass clef and the treble clef. That is middle C. Notice it's on a line all by itself. You can draw extra lines if you need to, above the staff or below the staff. Middle C should be right in the middle between the treble clef and the bass clef. So there's only one line available, right in between those two. So C. Now, if we actually just follow the alphabet, you'll see that all of the names of the notes correspond to the letters in the alphabet. C, and then D, E we have already for every, F for face, G, that's the good in every good boy does fine, A is the next space for face, B, and then C is the third space, D, E, and F on the top. So let's review these notes again. If we start with middle C and just go up the alphabet, we have C, D, E, F, G. Then G is the end of our alphabet for the music. We start again with A, B, C, D, E, F. What do you think comes next? G on the very, very top. And then what comes after G? If G is the end of our musical alphabet, we start again with A.
For that, you
have to draw another line for A, which you can do. So let's review again. In music we have a staff. The staff has 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4 spaces in between, 1, 2, 3, 4. The top staff of a grand staff, if you have 2, is a treble clef. The treble clef is also known as the G clef. The G is the second line from the bottom. If you want to name the notes in a staff on the treble clef, you can start with middle C, or you can start by remembering the mnemonic for the letters of the lines and the spaces. So you can have every good boy does fine for the lines, or face, F-A-C-E, for the spaces. Now remember, in music, our alphabet starts with A and ends with G. So when you get to a G on the staff, anywhere on the staff, there's our G, second line, you start again on the next space with A. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Then you have to start over again with A. So let's look at the bass clef. The bass clef is a little bit different than the treble clef. If you remember, the second line from the bottom is a G in treble clef. In the bass clef, the second line from the top is F. Now look at the second line from the top in the treble clef. What note is that? D. D and then F in the bass clef is the second line from the top. So if we just start with our F and continue on with our alphabet, where do you think we go? So draw us a quarter note for F.
On this line?
If we go up to the next space, the last space in a bass clef, what would that note be?
What comes after F?
G. Now, G is the end of our musical alphabet. So what comes after G? A.
A. And
A
this
is the
line
beginning.
goes down, yes?
Oh, you can do up. You did on the treble clef already. So if we go down from F, what's the letter right before F?
E.
E. So if we go backwards down our staff, we have E, D, C, B, and A. And the last line at the very bottom of the bass clef is G.
Oh, that's a G.
You can also come up with a little mnemonic to remember these letters and the letters for the lines versus the spaces on the bass clef as well. Let's see if we can come up with one. G, B, D, F, and A. We could use good boys do fine always. This is very similar to the one for the treble clef, in which we said every good boy does fine. Instead of that, in the bass clef, we have good boys do fine always. You could use that one. For the spaces, we have A, C, E, and G. You could come up with a mnemonic here also. One I like to use is all cabs eat gas. So let's review the bass clef one more time. In the bass clef, also known as the F clef, the second line from the top is F. The two little dots show us that that second line from the top is F. If you follow the musical alphabet, you can start with that F and go up F, G, and then start over A. What would the top be?
Above
B.
this.
And then we get to middle C again. Remember that middle C is called so because it is in the middle between the treble clef and the bass clef. That middle C is the same note right there. That's all we're going to cover for this first music lesson. Stay tuned for the next one.